Hello, everybody. This is episode 297 of Optimal Living Advice, and I am Greg Audino. I'm your host of the show, and this is where I take all kinds of questions that you listeners are having, questions of life and what personal struggles you might be undergoing, and I help you out with them, offering professional feedback and support. And today's question, I think, is one that can teach us all about resolving conflict and really understanding how those we might be in conflict with can actually be showing us love more so than we might think they are. Let's see how. We're going to get into this question now and optimize your life. My boyfriend has had a lot to say about me being a perfectionist. He worries that I'm too hard on myself, and I'm trying to take what he says seriously because what good girlfriend wouldn't? But what if I just don't see it as a problem? Yes, I can be hard on myself at times because I am a perfectionist. He's right about that. But it doesn't feel like it's self-sabotaging to me. It just feels necessary to get stuff done and be the best version of myself that I can be. So where do we go from here? He's concerned, and I'm just not. How can I calm him down and let him know that I'm fine? Okay, thank you so much, Asker. And, well, I'm sorry to hear that this is causing you a lot of stress. I would be lying if I said that this question doesn't make me a little bit happy, because it's clear that both you and your boyfriend are considerate of one another and want to make sure you each have space and recognition. And that's just such a great place to start, and definitely gives me the impression that there's a lot of health in your relationship. But even still, when we do have a lot of care for our partners like this, and it is a great thing for the relationship, it can still come with friction if that care is not relayed the right way. So if we care so much, but present it in a way that's overwhelming to our partners. And when we think of this idea, we might think of really clingy people, people who are anxious about being away from us and kind of smother us. That's a really common way for this to exist. But that's not what's going on with you two. You two are each concerned about how the other one relates to your level of perfectionism. But the hang-up, and the reason this is causing friction, is because his interpretation, his version of perfectionism and how it affects you, is different from your interpretation, your version of perfectionism and how it affects you. Simply put, perfectionism means different things to each of you, and it seems like you're both determined to defend your own ideas of perfectionism rather than getting to know what perfectionism means for the other one. Even if he can't put words to it, I'm betting that he sees perfectionism and sees burnout, sees exhaustion, a lack of self-care, and inevitably a lot of self-judgment. And he's right about that. You can't be a perfectionist without being someone who constantly judges themselves. And it's a tough task to use self-judgment to your advantage, feeling good about it and using it as fuel. Not many people can do this, even if they think they can. It can easily disguise itself as something good, but that's only true if it's coupled with self-acceptance. Again, no easy task, and surely something your boyfriend is worried about. You, on the other hand, you might feel that you have that in the bag. Maybe you can trace perfectionism back through all of your major accomplishments. You feel you can turn it off when you need to, and that it only helps you love yourself in the long run, because you know you're putting your best foot forward all the time. Perfectionism, like anything, means different things to different people. So, to me, getting to know what perfectionism means to him, as well as lightly questioning or checking in with your definition of perfectionism and how it impacts you, feels like it could be a nice place to start. And there are definitely some reflection questions that can help with this. So, let us consider what they might look like when talking with your boyfriend and talking with yourself. So, if you're talking with your boyfriend, it might help to ask him things like, what have you been taught about perfectionism? Or what experiences have you had revolving around perfectionism? What specific ways do you think my perfectionism has had a negative effect on me? What can I do to show you that I'm okay? What might you have me do differently? Can we explore that? And maybe we'll find a middle ground if I'm comfortable with it. All right? And then if you're checking in with yourself about perfection, maybe reflecting deliberately on the role it plays in your life and any silent side effects it might have had, you might ask yourself, what have I been taught about perfectionism? Or what experiences have I had revolving around perfectionism? What do I think the cost is of not being such a perfectionist? And is there objective truth to that? What have I been judged for by others? And how might I be channeling that into self-judgment through the form of perfectionism? Would the amount that I love myself change if I wasn't as productive as I am? And what does true growth look like for me? So the questions on both sides could go on, but in asking them, you may start to hear what's underneath both of your cries for you to not wear yourself out. I don't know if you classify this as an argument per se, but in any argument or disagreement, it's so empowering to realize what goal each person is trying to accomplish. And it's an incredibly beautiful thing to discover that you have a shared goal, just different means of getting there. Right now, you are both focused on your mental health. You both want what is best for you, but you just see different versions of that. But keeping that in mind is going to be critical for remaining patient with one another. And that patience is going to generate your best chance at some great self-discovery and discovery about your partner when asking those questions. So don't lose sight of the fact that there is mutual care and a shared goal. If you keep that front and center and ask the right questions, then bridging the gap between your ideas of how perfectionism affects you will become much easier. And a big thank you once again to the asker for submitting this question today, and also for giving us a little reminder about just how much love there can be beneath disagreements that we might have with one another. Sadly, this is easily forgotten about in the heat of battle, and after maybe taking one another for granted. So, checking in with how any rifts we have with our partners might be stemmed from a shared love is a really great thing to do at any stage of an argument, if you can muster the courage. Now, for the listeners out there, you know you can have an episode of your own and send in a question about something that you've been struggling with. Email me at advice@oldpodcast.com with whatever is on your mind, and I'd be more than happy to help you out on the show, or just an email if you prefer. The door's always open. With that, it is time to go, though, everybody. As always, I really appreciate you joining today, and I hope to see you again for the next one on Monday. That's where your optimal life awaits.